Hi, everybody. Welcome to Silverbean in Discussion With. My name is Lucy Botham. I head up client experience at the agency Silverbean. And today we are in discussion with the lovely Glosinda Goes and Nicholas Yates. Guys, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Yep. So I'm Glosinda Goes. I am the Global Partnerships and Affiliates Manager at Crabtree & Evelyn.
I'm Nic Yates, Performance Account Director at Silverbean.
Great. So today we are specifically talking about brand partnerships. We'll not keep you for too long, and we've got some really interesting examples and specific tactics that we can take you through as well. So do stay tuned for the whole thing. Before we get started, I think it's useful for the audience to hear from you guys specifically what you would define as a brand partnership, because it can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So Nic, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So I already have a pre-ready slide for this one as well. So first of all, within brand-to-brand partnerships, what we've found really is that when we're speaking to different brands, there seems to be two different objectives to achieve when looking at brand partnerships. The first one is kind of looking to monetize your existing customer base. So a brand, for example, within travel, might have low margin on their actual service or product that they're offering. Post-purchase, they might then want to sell auxiliary products in order to increase their revenue per customer. So what they're trying to do, therefore, is trying to monetize their existing customer base. The second objective is to attract a new audience to your brand yourself. So you're leveraging an existing brand and their audience to be promoting to yourself in order to convert. So they're the two different types of kind of objectives. The third one could be the both and combining that. So you could look for a two-way partnership between kind of the monetization, but then also attracting a new audience as well. What we found when doing this work is that there's often two different roles within an organization that might touch on brand partnerships. So the first one is the affiliate marketing manager. Quite often, an affiliate marketing manager is managing traditional type publishers, and they're looking at a way to kind of continue their expansion and hit revenue targets. So brand partnerships is often kind of the next step up in regards to the maturity of a traditional affiliate program, and a nice way to kind of expand on the role that they're doing, to be honest. The next one is what we call the brand partnerships manager. Basically, some of their role does actually touch on traditional affiliate management. So you'll look at the likes of employee benefits, closed user groups, but they also kind of do a lot of work offline. So they might be looking at gift cards through distribution and things like that. But they also will do brand partnerships. So it's kind of looking at it in two different angles, to be honest. So you might have an affiliate marketing manager wanting to do brand partnerships, but then you might also have a brand partnerships manager who naturally wants to be involved as well. So that's just how we see it at Silverbean in regards to the different roles, but then also the objectives in regards to brand-to-brand partnerships.
Thanks, Nic. Glossy, what are your thoughts? I mean, this is your role, so you can sort of almost tell us what you get up to day to day.
So you're at Crabtree & Evelyn. We do brand-to-brand partnerships and brand partnerships. And how we define brand partnerships is where we leverage each other's audience to break into a new market, increase brand awareness, and reach a new audience. We do believe that when we work with a brand, we both need to come together very naturally. And it's very important for both the brands to bring something really interesting to the table. But yeah.
Great. And would you have a set of guidelines about the brands that you would specifically work with, or do you look more towards what their markets and their audiences are?
I think the main thing is that both the brands have to have the same, like we have to have similar interests and likes in terms of the customers. And we also look at brands where we want to break into a new market, like suppose, for example, like a beauty tool, which we don't really have on site. So basically work with a brand that actually does that and cross-pollinate that way. I think that is something that we really look at. And in terms of the affiliate side, which I completely forgot to touch on before, we actually look at, we haven't done anything yet on that sense, and that is because of other limitations, which I'm guessing we're going to talk about later on. Mm-hmm. But we do think that affiliate tracking and affiliate and brand partnerships do come together really well. And that comes down to the tracking that affiliates bring and helps in measuring performance a bit better.
Great. So let's move into some specifics in terms of what you guys are currently working on in relation to brand partnerships. Glossy, do you want to kick us off? Don't worry about, I know you probably can't go into too much detail, but just sort of some examples.
So we just finished working with Stylist on a IGTV partnership, which was really successful, where our CEO actually spoke about how we do a looks facial at home. So I think that kind of falls underneath the brand partnerships area. We also work globally, especially in the US, UK, Canada, Australia market, and we are working on some great brand positioning partners, especially in the US. We recently worked with 8 Greens, where we spoke about refresh and reboot, because that was the story that we were telling on site. So whenever we work with brands, we make sure that they are in line with what we're talking on the company's website, so that it looks natural. We also work with quite a lot of boxes, actually. Not sure how many people know this, but we recently rebranded in 2019, and we have some new packaging and products that we want to promote, and that's why we work with boxes, as we think that's very important for our customers to actually have the products in hand, to test them, to learn about them, and then it helps an intention to purchase. Other than that, we're doing quite a lot this year. So because we have started investing a lot into partnerships, as we have realized that is a sector that we haven't really taken advantage of before, and we are looking to do a lot of podcasts as well, where we because I think during lockdown a lot of us are actually at home. We haven't really been going out as much as we want to, and we have seen people actually listen to a lot more podcasts, so that's something that we are looking to venture into.
Well, I guess if you're talking about brand to brand, you can also talk about brand to influencer partnerships and relationships.
Yes.
Influencers themselves are like a brand, are becoming brands, aren't they, and have huge audiences. So yeah, the podcast thing is definitely an interesting avenue. Nick, I know it's slightly different for you working agency side, but what your current experience is in terms of brand partnerships?
Yeah, so we've basically been doing brand partnerships for over a year. And in all honesty, we stumbled into it with our current accounts. So we've got a few clients obviously within travel and ticketing, and to be honest, they led the way for us in regards to kind of brand partnerships and supporting them with that. Over the last year though, we've kind of took the experiences we've had really and tried to establish a process for brand partnerships. I think what often happens is that a lot of people want to do brand partnerships and they're excited to do it, but there's not necessarily an educational piece in regards to the theory and how to go about it, how to source new partners, how to set up campaigns and things like that as well. So we took a step back really, and we set up a process and a way of working to address brand partnerships. And then when we done that, we realized that there was no one open network. So who do we know within the affiliate industry, for example, who wants to do brand partnerships? And we obviously discussed with the networks and the SaaS platforms and things like that, but we ultimately came down to the decision that like there is no central bank of people who want to do brand partnerships. So we done a soft launch literally last week to kind of see what the appetite was for it, and it went really well. So at the minute we've got over, I think it's 65 plus brands now that want to engage within brand partnerships, and one of our kind of focus points for the next like quarter really is to kind of build on that and to just try and facilitate more brand partnership conversations within the open network. And then within Q3, Q4 this year, then we want to kind of move that from a very basic Excel sheet into a network, so where people can log in and easily communicate, can kind of share experiences and things like that as well. So that's our plans for brand partnerships in regards to the network, and the rest of that is in regards to kind of the service offering and obviously being able to support more brands with that if they need it really.
Great. So the network sort of does the hard legwork at the front, because people don't know whether brands want to engage. So sort of everybody within this network is open to having a brand-to-brand partnership. And then I guess it's pulling those people together, making sure they've got sort of similar objectives, similar, whether it's like you say, matching brands up who've got similar sort of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Audiences.
Yeah, similar audiences or similar objectives of what they're trying to achieve. Yeah.
I agree, Lucy. I feel like just to Nick's point, we have, like, just me personally, I've had a lot of issues just contacting the right person. Like, you don't know do they do brand partnerships, but you want to work with them, but you don't want to be weird, just starting up a conversation, And I think just having that open network would be like a first step in the right direction for people like us who actually want to work with other brands, but don't know how to get about it.
Yeah,
I think like what I found when we were doing this for our ticketing and travel clients, to be honest, was that once you do outreach to a brand, like who do you speak to? Do you speak to the digital market manager? Do you speak to the affiliate market manager? Like some people have new business teams just for this as well, and that's why we came back into like the vast majority. I'd probably say 80% of it sits within the affiliate partner manager or the partnerships manager. That's why we define them two roles, really.
Yeah, and size depends a lot on the size of the organization, because some organizations, you have just a digital manager doing affiliate management, partnership management, and everything, where you've got slightly bigger organizations that actually separate them out. And I think that's what's happening more and more, is there's more emphasis being put on partnership and affiliate channel as like an effective marketing channel. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm a prime example of that actually happening, because my title is Global Affiliates and Partnerships Manager. And this wasn't, I feel like, is this a very new thing now? Not a lot, I think I've seen a lot of job roles that have come up where as partnerships and affiliates, but before it used to be solely that a partnerships manager cannot do an affiliates role. But if you look at our skill set, it is very similar in terms of we both focus on long-term partnership, people building skills, and I think it just makes sense to put them both together. And obviously the affiliate side of things gives us a bit more analytical knowledge in terms of tracking and measuring performance.
Absolutely. Great. So I think in specific to brand management, it'd be interesting to hear, I mean, Nic, you've touched on the network and what's your objective to growing that over the next year. Glossie, what are your objectives in relation to brand partnership for the year ahead? What are you trying to achieve?
I think working more and more with brand positioning partners. Right now, we do that a lot in the US, and we want to try and roll it out globally in UK, Canada, and Australia as well. And obviously other markets that we are in, but those are our 4 key markets. We also want to work more with obviously podcasts, boxes, publications. Those are just going to be ongoing partnerships. So we are trying to keep like a minimum of 2 to 3 partnerships per month, just keep the momentum going. And obviously trying to see how we can do that on the affiliate space if possible, because that will only enhance my affiliate program even better. And that's where my heart is. And that's where I basically started doing partnerships. So, yeah.
And in terms of awareness versus revenue driving, in terms of those 2 objectives in relation to brand partnership, what's the emphasis put on, or are they equal?
Very good question, Lucy. So how it works, how we work with partnerships is we tend to work with every partner at least 2 to 3 times. At least we try to do that. So we think that the first time we work with that partner is purely brand awareness. And obviously if it helps in driving revenue, that is amazing, right? Yeah. So the first time is having the brand awareness. The second time is like, okay, they've registered that there is someone called Crabtree and Evelyn, and they're they tend to purchase then after that. So that's why we work with them 2 to 3 times. And I think the second or third time we work with them is just KPI is going to be revenue and sessions to the website, no doubt about it. Because now your customer already knows us. So now we expect them to purchase from us.
So it's a long-term relationship we're looking at rather than
anytime, yeah.
Great. And then Nic, I guess I'll slightly switch the question to you, because being agency side, if you had a crystal ball, where do you think brand partnerships are going to go in the next 12 months, say?
I think a lot more brands are going to want to pick it up, to be honest. I think, if in all honesty, I think last year there was a lot of enterprise brands that were kind of migrating software. So we've probably seen a lot of movement from a traditional network to a SaaS solution. I think once brands are on SaaS solutions, they kind of take a little bit of time to get settled and obviously make use of the technology and look kind of just how to use it. And then within a few months after that, then they really want to be pushing on and making full utilization of the technology and attracting new partnerships as well. So I think that's going to continue in regards to the need and the desire for brands to kind of work together. And obviously as more case studies come about as well, then people will start to realize just how much it can support in regards to both brand awareness, but conversions as well. Because at the end of the day, you can kind of work with a traditional publisher, and that is all well and good. But I do think that when you work with a brand, it can kind of leverage more sales, because some brands have long established loyal customer bases. There's long trust in there, and I do think that once you do develop a mutually beneficial campaign, it will drive a high amount of revenue for both brands, to be honest.
Yeah, and just for that, just to add to Nick as well, we definitely would see, I think in brand-to-brand partnerships, you do see a higher AOV and a higher customer acquisition rate, because it is a similar audience. They do have similar likes and interests, and it just makes complete sense.
And I guess there's an element of word of mouth. If you're hearing it from a brand that you're already invested in and trust, and they're recommending a brand, you've got to sort of think, oh, well, I'll probably like that because it's come from them.
Yeah.
I think one thing that's good about the affiliate and partner industry as well is, like, it's so close knit. Everyone knows each other. Everyone wants to learn from each other, and everyone's very open in regards to what they're doing as well. Mm-hmm. So that's a real positive, and I think like brand partnerships will really kind of take on the back of that as well. It's like the perfect setting for progression, really.
Nick, you mentioned networks and technology, sort of a nice segue into how networks play a role in brand partnerships. Do you want to kick us off and have a little think about this?
Yeah, I mean, the role in itself, like, there's what we found, to be honest with you, is that the typical network, obviously speaking across the board now, then and SaaS partners, to be honest, like, they want to encourage brand partnerships because naturally it is the next step in regards to the progression model. But the one weakness that we do find is that they want it to be within their own platform. So a network will only recommend another network, like the same network's client, for example, within that relationship. Mm-hmm. And for me, I think that kind of stagnates the growth of what we can achieve within brand partnerships. Like, if it's a very open network, it doesn't matter what tracking platform that you're on, because the idea is it's mutually beneficial between the two brands. Like, it's not a case if you're just on one network, so you should only work with one network's clients. Yeah. I think they're taking it more down the affinity partnership routes. So they're trying to kind of look at either promotion. So say, for example, some brands might have loyalty groups for their existing customers, like telecoms and aggregators and things like that. Like that's where they're focused. So like, they're supporting the facilitation of promotions to their brands through their own kind of client base. So I kind of feel like the networks and SaaS partners are encouraging brand partnerships and affinity partnerships, which is positive. But then at the same time, I think the weakness is that they're only really encouraging it within their own networks, which is a great starting point. But there's a lot more to it out there in regards to kind of the cross promotion across networks and just bringing brands together where it makes sense.
So if we had a client that came to you and said, I want to do a brand partnership with Crabtree and Evelyn, but they're on a different platform to us, how would we help them get around that? Or is there a way around that?
We would just reach out to them. Like to Silverbean, it doesn't matter what tracking platform a brand's on to start that conversation. Like, in all honesty, it's not about the tracking solution to begin with. It's about the mutual beneficial relationship that could happen. If that then happens through UTM tracking links or like utilizing Google Analytics to track it, then so be it. But there's benefits, obviously, in regards to kind of utilizing an advanced tracking solution like a SaaS platform, for example. But there's also the kind of mutually beneficial relationship, which is the primary objective, really, in that conversation.
So networks are just trying to keep it in-house, but tech-wise, there's not a reason why people need to be on the same platform.
No, there's no reason for the same platform to be there. The benefits in regards to kind of platform, though, like, if you look at Adidas, for example, like Adidas have obviously sponsored the likes of FIFA for years. And when you buy the FIFA product, then they'll always have a voucher code within the box. And what a SaaS partner can do is kind of bring that voucher code into your affiliate program. So if you're doing, say, box promotions, which are offline within a brand partnership, then obviously the ability to actually record and be able to offer a commission based on offline code redemption online, it's an advanced tactic, and that's where the SaaS player comes in. I don't think you'd be able to do that within a traditional network, to be honest. So that's what we mean in regards to kind of the unlocking of brand partnerships as the program matures as well. And that's where we kind of see the difference between networks and SaaS, to be honest, just in regards to the tracking capabilities that it can offer And when you can track more online and offline sales, then it means that you can kind of look to offer commissions, but optimize campaigns through that as well.
Okay, great. And Glossy, how are you finding the networks in terms helping or hindering in terms of brand partnerships?
I think Nick has covered this amazingly well. And just to add to that, I feel like there's not much to add except for, yes, we do have some limitations when it comes to working with the traditional network, and definitely SaaS platforms know how to. They're the ones who have actually started brand-to-brand partnerships and how to actually track that a bit better, and just learning from other brands who are actually doing it, especially in the travel sector. I think that's what I'm here for.
Okay.
Yeah.
That leads us nicely into our next question, talking about sectors. So obviously some sectors lead the way a lot with certain initiatives which are newer. What sectors do you feel are pushing the boundaries or being leaders in terms of brand partnerships?
Yeah, for me personally, I think it's more against like when you go back to the start of like affiliate and partnerships, where most did different sectors start. Like for me, retail started within traditional affiliate management, so it was like the voucher codes, cashback, closed user groups, and so on.
Yeah,
it was very much a traditional focus within affiliate management for retail. If you look at the likes of travel and ticketing, though, like them sectors, they started within brand partnerships, so they were leveraging each other's in regards to brand to brand, but they were also kind of working with white labels, APIs, things like that. So in regards to the different advancements within sectors, you're kind of seeing, in my eyes, travel and ticketing advance in regards to kind of brand partnerships. And then on the retail side wanting to advance within like traditional affiliate partnerships. For me, we're now at a point where both sides are trying to learn from each other and expand in order to kind of maintain high growth, to be honest. So you've got the retail side wanting to do more brand partnership work, and the travel and ticketing side wanting to do more traditional affiliate work. So it's kind of like a nice collaboration between the two. I think both sectors can learn from each other, and that is taking place. But that's where I kind of see the learnings from brand partnerships and just where different sectors are at, really.
Glossy, what are your thoughts on sectors?
I think just from the beauty sector side of things, I have seen, I feel like they are a bit more traditional, but I think that's because it works for them when it comes to co-creating products and stuff like that. I don't know, Lucy and Nick, if you've seen those amazing collaborations with like Star Wars and CoverGirl, which was really cool, the light and dark side, Karl Lagerfeld and Model Co. with the limited edition lip glosses. I think those kind of partnerships just work really well because it's more about the brand name, and obviously they cross-pollinated when it comes to each other's audience. Crabtree and Evelyn is a beauty exploration brand in its heart, and we did start with our founder did start with exploring around the world and getting these amazing ingredients and creating the product. So we just want to work with travel brands to just try and explore or tell that part of our story. So yeah, we do want to know what the other travel brands have done and what we can do with them and things like that. So yeah.
I think as well, when you talk about sectors, it's also interesting talking about brands and their specific audience. So which audiences are more likely to take up a brand partnership promotion? So was it Just Eat and ASOS did one recently, which targets young audiences who are always looking for something extra, and just that felt like a very natural fit and a natural audience to take it up. Do you see it as maybe a younger audience type of promotion to run, or am I not talking rubbish?
No, I think it's definitely a younger audience promotion to run, because I feel like when it comes to Just Eat and delivery companies, like the Deliveroo and all of these people, like I think we just understand how to use the app better and things like how to get I think we, especially us being in the affiliate industry, we are a bit more tech savvy that we automatically go to, what's the discount code, what's it this, what's it that. But I feel like with the older audience, they possibly know how to use the app and stuff like that, but they might like limit to like not searching for discount codes, not searching for like all the additional bits of it, and making it a bit more effective in that sense.
I think for me as well, like brand partnerships can happen dependent, no matter what age group you're targeting. It's all about the trust that the user has for the brand. So like if, for example, you're looking at a travel brand that has an average age over, say, 60 plus, like if that audience really trusts you as a brand and buy into your brand, and you refer them onto another brand, they will click through and they will buy, so long as there's a reason to do so. So if you go on holiday and you want to buy a suitcase or some specialist clothing, for example, then that brand partnership will work. If it's to go and buy a pizza, like it's just not going to work. So it comes down to like is it a truthful partnership, and kind of does your brand have trust with your user as well, in order to kind of direct them elsewhere and advise them on their next purchase as well.
So that might be characteristics you'd want to look for if you were entering a brand partnership, is looking for a brand that you feel has a loyal customer base to start with, because they'll probably take up a suggestion of another brand more easily.
Trust, authority, like there's certain metrics as well within digital marketing. So like looking at kind of the size of their audience within email, social campaigns and things like that. Like what assets do you have as a brand, and what do other brands have to promote you as well? And then naturally that will kind of link back into the results of the campaign as well.
Great. I think for us, Nic, just to add to that, trust is definitely something that I would agree with. But I think when it comes to customer demographics, we do look at brands who have similar age groups, only because if we suppose of a brand like for us, we want to change, we just rebranded recently and want to try and change our customer demographic to a bit younger audience than who we were targeted before the rebrand. So we want to target millennials. So we would ideally, in the ideal case scenario, work with brands who actually have a younger demographic, just to help leverage that in our favor. And just so that we can get approval from the senior management more than anything. But
I think on that though, like there's so many tools out there now that really help with brand partnerships in regards to sourcing them. So like you can learn from like your influencer team in regards to kind of looking at a brand audience in regards to age, certain demographic, things like that. But then you can also use another third-party tool which looks at your audience from a social perspective, but then who they are following from other brand perspective as well.
So connect passion areas.
Like very quick wins. Like if your consumers are already engaging with another brand, then that's your starting point really. Right. Whereas I feel like sometimes then some people don't look at the data first and they just think, well, this relationship is the best and it's the best option. And sometimes it's just about pulling back and remembering, like start with the data, review it, and then go from there.
I agree. Data is so important, because otherwise, like you said, Lucy, it will look so unnatural.
So you guys have jumped sort of into my last question, because I want to wrap things up. But specific tactics that somebody might embark on when starting a brand partnership, what would be your sort of top 2 or top 1 recommendation?
For me, it's first of all knowing your objective. Like, what does the business want to achieve out of brand partnerships? Is it to monetize your existing customer base? Is it to acquire new customers, or is it both? Like, know with what your objectives are to begin with, because then that will really help you with your kind of ongoing conversations and what you can offer to brands as well within that. After that, it's all about kind of what we do is when we're looking for new partners, we tend to put them into kind of buckets of kind of primary, secondary, and affinity partnerships. Kind of primary is things like these things need to happen in order for them to fulfill your own product. So like it's essential basically. Secondary is that it's a nice to have and there's multiple options out there. And then affinity is kind of like the more probably where we're sitting now in regards to like the wider pool. So if you're going on holiday, you might want a suitcase, you might want new clothing, you might want beauty products and things like that. So like that's the affinity pool, a much more wider pool. But try and think of the types of brand partnerships in regards to that you can have, brainstorm all the different brands that you can think of, but then put them into different categories in regards to how they're going to support your brand. Is it a primary, is it a secondary, or is it an affinity partnership? And then obviously you can kind of look to get a strategy in place to address it really. Nice.
Glossy, what would be your top tips?
I would say obviously get your objective right. So agree with Nic, we have to make sure that if it's a revenue partner or is it a brand awareness partner. And after that, internally, what we do is we always try and put together like a forecast model just to get an idea of like, okay, what is this partnership going to do? This is their stats. So basically get all the data possible, which you think will help you to create that model, So that helps with approval, it helps with senior management, what you're expecting to get from them. Are you expecting to get more impressions? Are you expecting to get more revenue? And based on that, create a model. CPC, CPV, I think all those kind of KPIs are really important. And I think the last step is obviously look at the brand who you want to work with and make sure that you both are actually getting something interesting to the table. I know I said this before, but I think it's very important to make sure that you both complement each other in such a way that it comes really naturally. Like for us, if we work with a beauty tools company or with an exploration brand, like make sure that it actually makes sense, like a travel kit or something, like co-create something like that so that it actually comes together nicely.
Great. And that, I think, puts us out of time, guys. Really, really big thanks for your time today, sharing your wisdom and example, and giving me a reason to put makeup on today. So thanks, Nic. Thanks, Glossy. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and join us next time when we'll have some interesting talks.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.